Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey, everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thanks everybody for being on our call live today. Excited to see what we get to create today. And then also I want to give a special welcome to those who are listening on the podcast. And if this is your first time, just to give you a heads up, this is an interactive podcast. Is something that you want to participate as if you were live. So I encourage you to, whatever you're doing, just put it down, grab some paper and pen, and as we get started, we're going to be doing a private meditation in just a moment, and you can participate right along with us. Just take this 90 seconds, give it to yourself to be listening for personal inspiration about what you can receive on a particular subject that we're going to be focusing on, that we focus on every morning, something different. And today, that focus is milestones. That was mentioned a couple of times before we started the recording, as we were doing some rounds of gratitude just to get us started. And also a couple other things that were mentioned that help me think that this word milestones will open up some new fun things that we get to see maybe from a different perspective. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds and just invite all of you to write down whatever comes to you during this 90 seconds, your own personal inspiration about gratitude for milestones. 90 seconds, gratitude for milestones, 90-second private meditation, begin. All right. I've never run a marathon, but there's a guy that is my neighbor. He lives around the corner from me that is a marathon runner. In fact, he's a world-class marathon runner. His name's Jason Ward. And he has done the Boston Marathon, and there's several other, big marathons that he's done, and comes in like first or second or third. I mean, he's like world class. And so our neighborhood has come together and, kind of supported him in that. And so I know a little bit about, a little tiny bit about some of the things that happen in marathons. What I thought of was with these milestones was sort of like a crossroads that marathon runner, as they're going along, they have people stationed throughout the course so that, runners, as they're running by, they can grab water, they can grab, snacks and things to kind of help keeping them going. And they're applauding them and just giving them that extra little boost, of encouragement to help them keep going. And I also know that those are also places that are people can stop and rest if they need to before they keep going. And also they have medical teams on hand, so if somebody really needs some help. Or it could be because there's lots of people there and lots in transportation, that if somebody decides that they want to quit, if they're done, that's a stopping place. And also, I remember a story of, I can't remember where I heard this. It wasn't really a story, it was an actual experience where someone was climbing the Swiss Alps, and partway up there's like this base camp, but it's a chateau or chalet or whatever they call it, I don't know. And they have hot chocolate and they have, all kinds of, like a gift store, and it's very comfortable, and fireplace, and, it's just really nice. And they have that there because there are some people that want to go to the top, and then there are other people who want to just be sort of like the support team. But then, that's kind of like the beginning of the hard climb. And one of the guy who was telling this story said that he was going to be on the team that summited, but when he got to this base camp, it was so comfortable that he decided to stay and to let everybody go on beyond. And it was one of the biggest regrets of his life. And that came back to me as well. So milestone could be a respite. It could be a rejuvenation station. It could be a great place, to get some encouragement. But if we're not careful, it could become a stopping point that could produce some regrets later. So that's what came to me. Who else has something that they would like to share about gratitude for milestones?
I'll share.
Okay, Tammy, and then Daniel.
So it's funny, I was thinking about marathon running also. I kind of, after marathons came to my mind, I separated the word, and I was looking at the word mile by itself, and just thinking about how that is a specific distance, a specific amount of distance, and then looking at the word stone and thinking another word for that could be rock, something solid to lean on. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking about how in a marathon, you got to go a certain distance in order to receive that help, in order to actually need that help. And just how, kind of applying that to my life and what I've experienced in life. I've got to do my part, but once I reach a certain goal or certain point, and even in the middle, there are manifestations of, that those solid things to lean on, that those resources that God provides to give respite. But if I'm not willing to go a specific distance, I will never need those resources or use them.
Beautiful. Thank you. We have to commit. We have to sign up for the marathon before we can expect to have that help along the way. Thank you. Another thought that came to me, and then Daniel, I'd love to hear what you have to say, was Peter, when he got out of the boat and was walking towards Jesus. He had to commit to get out of the boat and walk on the water before he could use that resource of Jesus helping him to to stay on the water. And Jesus is the rock. Thank you. Daniel.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same plane. Yeah, I sort of like just envisioned, like walking a mile and then seeing a stone.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea was that gave me a sense like of a journey. And then I thought of my own spiritual journey in the Catholic faith. And it was like, okay, baptism, first milestone,
Mm-hmm.
and so on, and of course we wouldn't call them stones, we call them sacraments. And I love the word because there's sacred in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and so on. And I just found a comfort, in the whole idea of the milestones and the progress that we make, in our spiritual journey. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that idea too, the spiritual progress and those milestones that we can mark. Thank you. Who else?
I was also thinking of running and walking, and the mile seems so long the first time you walk it or you run it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not. It's so, after a while it just becomes easy, and it's just not enough. You have, there's more. You start seeing starting something. It's just like then 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. You just keep going because you realize it's just, there's more, and it becomes easier as you go, and as the more times you do it, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Starting something new, it seems like the end goal is so far away until you get about 50% and then 60%, and then closer to your goal. It seems like it was so uphill on your journey to your goal, but as you get closer, it just seems to go faster. And the more you stick with it, if you stick with it, it just starts to become easier and starts to become clearer. You start to do it with ease.
Mm-hmm. I love that. There's something called the second wind, when you feel like what you were talking about, like getting halfway, and then it's almost like you speed up, because you see, oh, wow, the end is actually in sight. I can, I made it this far, so I know I can make it more. And so it's like this second wind that kind of builds within us. Thank you. Who else?
I'd like to share.
Oh, okay. Melissa, and then was it Rachel?
Suzanne.
Thanks. Melissa first.
So I'm a marathon runner, so this is like really
awesome.
hitting home for me. It's funny that didn't even come to my mind at all, but now that you guys are all speaking about it, I just wanted to share my hack for finishing a marathon strong. And it's just smiling.
Oh.
It's like when you're running and it's hard and you're hitting those milestones and it just feels so long. If you just smile while you're running, it's so much easier to get through to the next milestone before the finish line. And then you just run into the finish line just with a huge smile on your face. It's just so incredibly fulfilling. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Makes for a much better photo finish picture too. Thank you. Suzanne.
Okay, so I was thinking of a marker along the path, as in a long time ago, they used milestones. They were actual stones that they put along the road, along the path. And they helped other people realize how far it is in between the different places. And so I liken it to our progress on a path and different markers that we know where we are on our path. And nowadays we have mile markers that are put, and they're numbered, and so we know how far it is from one place to another. But also we share that knowledge with other people, especially through mentoring, where we show the progress to get to a goal. And sometimes it's good to travel a path that lots of people have traveled,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn how to get there. And then sometimes it's good to forge your own path
Mm-hmm.
and go to places that no one else has gone before.
Beautiful. I think last week, I can't remember which day it was that or what we were talking about, but I mentioned something about like if a river is going, straight to the ocean, that it's good to kind of break off and make our own tributary, and then create this big lake and let that lake spill over and then come back and join the river, back down to the ocean, but to create our own little pond, our own little lake of that is a different experience that other people can have along the way. So it's not just like a straight path to the river. And that kind of takes me back to what I was thinking during whatever day that was, that yes, it's super helpful when we're in the beginning of our journey, especially when we're walking along the path or going down a river that's got these little stones or mileposts or markers somehow along the way that says you're on the right path. And even marathon runners put barricades up and do things so that you make sure that you make the right turns. And then when we get strengthened, when we have our own knowledge, that we feel like I've got, some different knowledge that I've gotten from all these different sources that I need to share, then it's time to kind of break off and create our own path, put our own mile markers down, and so that other people can who want to make that path their own as well, who want to, do that path, will have some mileposts or milestones to follow. And then because we're all kind of headed in the same direction, we all have the same end goal in general. We all are going to end up back there. But yeah, I love that idea of it's great to be on a path where somebody else has set up the markers. And then at some point we need to break off and create our own markers, because there's going to be some people who will follow us that won't follow anyone else. Let's get maybe one more share before we move on to our permission process.
I just thought of the cheerleaders and people who are cheering you on as you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And that just really helps to keep going and make those milestones.
For sure. Yeah, totally. It is the only thing that makes our journey possible, really. If you compare this to a marathoner journey, if it was like 24.6 miles or whatever it is from start to finish, and all you had was just your own, maybe a small water bottle strapped to you or something, but nothing else. If you just had that and you had to make it that many miles, there wouldn't be a lot of people that would make it. Thank you. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Just get grounded and be aware of all the new information that you've received, kind of taking this information in, internalizing it, making a physical, almost like a physical milepost or milestone right now within your journey, recognizing where you are and the cheerleaders that you have that have helped you along the way, those mileposts, those rocks that we have leaned on as we've seen them along our path, and that have helped give us encouragement, whether that be a person or just a sign that I'm on the right path, whatever it is. And also acknowledging yourself if you have created your own little path and sort of placing your own mile markers. milestones, to celebrate yourself for that, regardless of how far along you are. Even if you haven't placed that first milestone yet, if you're still hacking the path, just give yourself credit for that. Celebrate yourself. And also looking forward and envisioning the end result, the finish line. And the celebration, putting that big smile on your face as you cross the finish line, being welcomed by friends and family, people that maybe you don't even know, who are celebrating you, cheering you, excited to welcome you home. And as you're envisioning crossing that finish line, being welcomed home, what is your desire? What was the reason for you to choose to take that journey, to be on that journey? What are you experiencing now as you're crossing the finish line? What is the knowledge and the success that you're feeling within yourself? What are you most grateful for? What are you most proud of as you're crossing that finish line? And as you're becoming more aware of the reason that you're on this journey, I invite you to look back to when you started, to when you were just getting ready to just waiting for the starting gun, waiting for the starter to signal to go. And what is the one thing that put you in this position to be ready to begin? What was your inspiration? What was your motivation? What was the one most important thing that was required for you to make that commitment, to choose to get on this journey, and also not to just be on the journey, but to finish with a smile on your face, confident and strong? What's your motivation? What's your inspiration for starting? And as you're becoming more clear with what your motivation, your inspiration is for starting, and also to look forward and finishing strong and confident, what's the one most important thing that you could do today to sign up for this journey, to actually be committed, to know that you're going to show up and you're going to be there, that you are committed to finish? What is the one most important thing that you could do today? What's your inspired shortcut to finishing strong and confident? And as you're getting clear with what that one most important thing is to commit to be on the journey and to finish strong, what's the limiting belief that is showing up for you about taking action on that one thing? And also possibly that limiting belief that is stopping you from really believing that you can finish strong. And if you hold on to that limiting belief, there is an outcome, a cost that limiting belief is going to produce. And so if you hold on to it, just be aware of what it's going to produce. And if you don't like that, you have the choice right now. You can keep that limiting belief because you now know what it's producing for you, or you can give yourself permission to choose a new belief. So if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. And then what are those new beliefs? Let's get like 2 or 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief, will empower you to finish strong, and will also honor this inspiration that you have to begin, the motivation that you have to begin. Will give power to it. Will give power to that motivation to begin. And will also empower you to take that first step. Do your inspired shortcut today. What are your new beliefs? And as you look over that list of new beliefs, I invite you to step up to the finish or to the starting line and feel your body, not just as an imagination, but actually feel your body stepping up to the starting line, and maybe even feeling a little bit of jitters at the beginning and looking around and seeing all the other people that are on this journey with you as well. And that as you're starting, there are thousands of people, hundreds, millions, hundreds of thousands and millions of people, even billions, that are on this journey as well. And a tendency to maybe compare a little bit, that this person looks more ready or more prepared, but that's false. This is your journey. Every single one of us has our own individual journey, and there are mileposts placed along the way that just have your name on it. There are people and resources along the way that have your name on it, that are there specifically for you, that are watching for you, that are ready to cheer you on, and that have all the resources that you need to give you along the way to assure that you are successful, that you finish strong. So just focusing now only on your own path, on your own journey, and allow these new beliefs to give you the power and the confidence to begin. And seeing that first milepost or milestone that has been placed, that has your name on it, and you're aware that there are other runners running past, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a marked off mile distance. Maybe your milepost is 10 feet in front of you. Maybe your milepost is 3 miles in front of you. But it's exactly in the place where you needed it, where you needed that extra support, where you needed that rejuvenation, a resource, a little bit of water, some cheering on, whatever was needed, it was placed in the exact perfect place. And as you run along and seeing those milestones, just feeling gratitude in your heart for them being placed at the perfect place, that are encouraging you to go just a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and then there it is, just in time to give you the rest and rejuvenation that you needed. The extra support, the resources that you needed was just placed perfectly. And as you're going along now, noticing that the milestones are farther and farther apart, and that your confidence is increasing because you've made it this far, and you're seeing that the end is actually something that you can envision yourself, the finish line, crossing, and even with a smile on your face. And since you can envision that, and you no longer are just hoping and wishing and wanting those milestones to appear, that it's an opportunity for you to look up and look around and notice the nature around you, to possibly even encourage other runners that are going along that maybe haven't experienced that feeling of knowing that you can finish strong, maybe giving them a little bit of encouragement. And as you're looking around at the beauty around you and just enjoying how your body is moving and just noticing that you have what it takes, that a milestone passes by and you don't even notice it, that you continue on and you didn't even need what that was offering because you're already strong and confident and moving forward. And that as you're moving along, rather than being so concerned about yourself, that you've decided that it's even more important for you to give encouragement to other people because you've got extra overflowing ready to be able to share at all times. And so looking off the side of the path, instead of looking for a milepost that has been placed for you, a milestone that's been placed for you, you're going to look for a stone that would allow you to give some encouragement to someone else. And finding that stone and just being able to use this power of thought to be able to write an inspiring message on that milestone and set it beside the path in a place where the person who needs that's coming behind you will easily be able to see it. And then putting a big smile on your face and running on. And continuing to do that, possibly seeing those milestones as you need them also, but also placing milestones for others. And looking up, you can see that finish line in view. Big smile on your face, one last burst of energy, and crossing that finish line into the arms of those people who are there to welcome you. And what are those feelings? What are those emotions that you're experiencing? Take a moment and be aware of all the people that are coming behind you. Turn around and welcome them and receive those words of gratitude for the milestones that you placed along the way as well. In a moment, I'm gonna, actually we are at the end of our time. Would love to, if there is someone who would like to share, I would love to, even though it's going to take us over time, I'm going to allow that. This was a really powerful meditation for me. And it looks like Mary, you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. So my experience was ribbon cutting for a community. There was joy and happiness in this, like, just so grateful. So I helped to build and lift others. My limiting belief was it's not time yet. There's someone better that can do it, and it's just not all figured out yet. There was a couple of things going on there, and the cost is you just never start if you're not, I'll never start. And my new beliefs are just, that's what I want to share. I'm creating connections. I am in motion. I am celebrating the journey. I am chosen to live my journey, and I'm doing my part. I am building communities.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this. I have more that I could share, but I'm not going to. So maybe I'll do a post on our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude. Love to have anybody share there that hasn't had a chance, that's got something really powerful that could serve others. It could be a milestone for other people. So thank you all for being on the call today. Just a last invitation before we close to go to askwylene.com if you have something that you would like to visit with me about, to talk with me about. That'll take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call. And I'd love to have that call with you if you're feeling like you need that extra, as a milestone for you. Thank you for being on our call. Thank you for everyone who has shared. It's been really powerful. If you know someone who is having a hard time on their journey and needs a milepost to be able to lean on, a milestone to be able to lean on, I encourage you to share this gratitude call. I keep saying milepost because that is the word that I use in my 7 Gateways book is mileposts. And if you haven't read that book, I encourage you to do it because this it'll just add to what you have already learned today. Well, thank you all for being on the call. We'll look forward to being back together tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. And thanks again for everything that you shared. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WilingBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.